Welcome to day 12 of July Postcard Play, hosted by Carrie Griffiths. I'm finally able to say that now. I was always saying Jelly Postcard Play, but now I can say July Postcard Play. Or can I? I don't know. Anyways, check out his channel, check out my playlist, and check out all the people playing along using the hashtag. I think everyone's having a lot of fun with it. Today, my inspiration is this door that I got in Happy Mail from Safia Button. And I want to do like a star-filled innard that I'm going to collage, Dede Willingham style. Whenever I see these doors, I think of Dede Willingham. I'll link her down below as well, and I'll put one of her door collages. And then the outside, we're going to do sort of a distressed look. To make the stars and the distressed outside of the door, I'm going to use a resist technique using baby powder that I've seen lots of people use this before. So let's start with the base print. So the first time I tried this technique with the baby powder, I didn't quite understand it, but I think I've got a better grasp now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put unbleached titanium. I thought it was titanium buff. I'm just gonna do on my 5x7 plate with the alizarin crimson. I'm trying to kind of match this distressed look. If it's too dark, then I can always, or too vibrant, I can always add like a layer of gesso to it or something. So let's use our little 2-inch brayer, and we're just gonna kind of smush that around on the plate. And with this technique, I don't think it matters if we have it like thick paint or not. So I'm gonna keep it thick for now. And then what you do is you put the baby powder on it before you put your pickup. So you just sprinkle the baby powder, and what that does is it prevents the paper from picking up the paint in those areas that you have the baby powder. So this is really thick. I'm just gonna press quickly. Well, I mean quickly, like I don't need to let it dry. Okay, I'm just using my copy paper to stick it down because I don't want to get my fingers all dirty. So when we lift that up, you'll see that the paint does not pick up where the baby powder was. So that's kind of distressed. Does it match that? Actually, it's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to let this dry and let that dry. So this is dry, so when it's dry, you can kind of rub off any excess baby powder. And then I'm going to, I think you can do this technique with cornstarch as well. I'm gonna pick this up with the gold just to give us some choices. We'll notice the difference of doing the baby powder like underneath. You'll see that it's a different look. So I'm just gonna kind of just put that over top of this. Gonna let that dry, and then we'll pick it up and discuss. So that's dry. I'm gonna do my background that's gonna be on the outside here, the pattern that's gonna be with that other print. And I'm thinking this would kind of look cool, like if you see that, and we let some of that show, it looks kind of like a portal. Should do it up more like that. I have to kind of decide on my positioning because this 4x6 card is going to be very specific. So I think I'll pick it up in with just a little bit. When I lay it down, I'm going to make sure that I get just a bit of that sun part on the top. And this is one of my stencil designs available from Kim Artist Studio. It's called City Bridges Style 1. I'll link that below. It does come in a variety of sizes, as most of their stencils do. Okay, so I'm going to first put a layer of gold underneath. I want the rays to be mostly gold, but I think I want a bit of a black outline. So I'm gonna put gold first. And I want a good amount of it because I want it to stay wet under the stencil. Okay, I put this on like so. Gold. mold on just this copy paper. And I think we did this day 5. We did kind of like getting the outlines of your stencil onto something. That's the first layer. And then I'm going to add some black. And we're going to pick up most of the black before we use our postcard. This is the Mars black. Okay. All right. So I want to get kind of the outlines. I'm going to have to put my postcard down quickly before everything dries. Okay, so I'm going to pick, oh no, I'm not going to pick that. I need to pick this up this way. Sorry, got ahead of myself there. So I'm going to try to get most of the black out, but not all of the black out. And then we're going to pick this up and throw our postcard on top. Remember, we're going to keep, what did I say? I wanted the sun showing. I'm trying to center that as best I can. And then let's just plop this back. Let's plop this one back down. Just so we don't get our hands dirty too much, although this is still wet, so I'm getting my hands dirty. And I'm just trying to push down on that postcard so it picks up the print. All right, so we're gonna let that dry and we'll keep our fingers crossed. So that's kind of interesting there too. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. While that's drying, let's pull our other one and we'll discuss why you put the baby powder on the top. Because you'll see here, you don't really get much of that baby powder resist. It's actually inside the print. Although, even though you don't get the resist, you do get an interesting effect. You get extra paint where the baby powder was. So that's kind of cool too. I'm not mad at that. Do we want to use that one instead? I don't think so, but that will come in handy for something else. Like I said, I want to put a sort of galaxy inside here. So we're going to use black paint to do that. But what I want to do is I want to have some nebulization. So I want to have some streaks of shiny color. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my finger to just kind of wipe this color shift on here, going across. So this is the red flash. Wipe my hands, and then we're going to put this violet flash as well. You could use a paintbrush, you could use a brayer. I'm just using my fingers because I just feel like it. And I'm not very left-handed, so I'm just going to bring that to my other hand. And you'll notice that the flash paints look very different on black than they do on white. So it'll be interesting to see how this looks. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry before I put the black paint and the baby powder. So right now that looks like a hot mess. It's mostly dry. And I'm hoping it's going to transform into something amazing once we put our Mars black on. Roll it out, add our baby powder. I keep wanting to say baby oil. Baby powder. The baby powder is going to make the stars. So I want that fairly thin. I'm going to add our baby powder. That's our stars. And I'm going to use this, just a piece of the 32-pound Hammermill Premium. All right, this time we're going to let that dry. While that's drying, actually, I think this other one should be ready. This one here. So that's pretty good. I like it. It looks cool just like that. I'm going to be covering up a lot of it. Look at that. That's some yumminess. But we're going to put this on top. So you could leave it with that inside, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut off that little edge of white though. Now this door was said to me, and it's actually on pretty firm cardstock. I should say though, if you're looking for doors for collage, I can recommend these Catherine Anderson books. She has quite a few different ones, and she has a few that have doors and openings. And what's cool about some of them is they actually double-sided. So when you do the door, it's on both sides. But these are not, these are on, you know, sort of magazine thickness paper, a little bit thicker. But so they're not quite as sturdy as the one I'm doing, but there's lots of cool images and there's different sizes. There's some smaller ones. So I'll put a link for this book in the description below. So we're gonna place that on here. Actually, I'm gonna cut this right here. I'm not sure where Safia got this door. Okay, we're going to get our back paper ready first. So let's pull this other print. This is our starry sky background. And you can see there's our nebulization. So the red turned sort of purpley and the violet turned more of a gold. And then our baby powder gave us the stars. I'm gonna give that a bit of a wipe. Hopefully it should be dry enough to resist the wipe. Just gonna wipe off some of that. All right. Okay, so now we're going to decide what portion we're going to put inside the door. Now I have cut out some collage elements. These are the collage images that I cut out. I selected and I fussy cut them, and they are from this book, Extraordinary Things to Cut in Collage, and I'll link this below. There's lots of cool collage books available out there. So I thought this curvaceous fella with a mustache, I think I want him like diving here. I want him like on the inside diving. And then we're gonna have this balloon with this lady hanging out. I don't know if you can see that. We're gonna have her in the top corner as if, and then I can paint out areas with the black. So let's decide where we want these. Kind of like that spot there, because we have some of the black that looks very spacey. And then, or we could kind of do that, cover up a lot of that white. Okay, let's do that. Let's just go for it. I'm going to mark the edges. And then we're gonna cut that down and then we'll paste it on our postcard. So I've got my space part cut out. I just need to attach it to the card. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna glue the door yet, but I'm gonna use the door to help me place the space for lack of a better word. So I'm just gonna use my Ellen's tacky glue. There's lots of different ways to do this step, I'm sure, but this is how I'm just gonna do it. Usually I would use my glue stick to spread it out, but I don't want to glue the door yet, so I'm just gonna make sure that's gonna be covered. And then I put my door where I want the door. And if I have to close down, like cut off the bottom of the door, I think I'm okay with that. press that down now. So it's fairly symmetrical. Okay, I'm gonna cut the bottom of this off. And then we're going to glue down our collage elements before we glue the door. You need two hands. I'm going to use a clip, I think, to do that. So I can kind of position this. So that guy's going to be like so. Now, did I do it? That's pretty good. And then this is going to be up in this corner. I want his toes kind of behind the door though, so it looks like he's coming that way. All right, let's glue. And this time I will use my glue stick to spread out the glue and flatten it down, so you don't have big pockets of glue. So that's where my door is going to go. So I'm going to tuck just kind of in there. That's pretty good. And let's glue this here. We're gonna add some black. Just tuck that up under there just a little bit so it looks like it's flying out of the scene. So we don't know, but did he pop her balloon and then jump out? Is that a parachute? Is it a balloon? I don't know. That's kind of up to imagination. Okay, before I glue that down, I'm just going to blend that in. Dede Willingham explains that it's easier to blend things in if you actually rip the edges, but to do that, I think I'm going to actually color that in too. Not really sure what that's supposed to be. I'm gonna use my Pitt pen, my brush tip. I think it's just a nice, it's a bit darker. I don't mind if she has like a little bit of white around her. And then I feel like we should do some mist here with some white craft paint. And we'll do this Dede Willingham style. Okay, so I've got my craft white matte paint, and we're gonna just put a bit here. We're gonna use a baby wipe. Dede explains that you take your craft paint and you mash it into the baby wipe like that. Then, I'm glued to that card here. And then I'm just gonna add just a bit of like mist coming through. It's pretty good. I do want it a little bit falling. That's what I want. Just use my gel pen to just kind of highlight these sort of strings. Now, let's see. Here's the door. Okay, I'm going to use some double stick tape. I think just for the top, and then I'll use the tacky glue along the sides. I find this brand, this Sukwang brand of double stick tape works really well, and it's easy to tear. If I had, it comes in different sizes. If I had the narrow one, I would probably do the edge, but I don't want any sticking out, so I'm just going to use my tacky glue. I just have to hold it in place for a bit. I'm going to do the corners here, and then I should maybe pull this first. I'm going to pull the backing. Okay. So you don't want to glue your doors down, so you got to be careful. And obviously, you know, this is too 3D to be too much of a 3D postcard to go in the mail. But Carrie says it doesn't have to be mail art. You can just use it as like postcard sized art. So that's how I'm approaching this challenge, is I'm not really planning to mail these, although I'm going to be doing a giveaway at the end of July, and I don't think I'm going to give any of the actual postcards away, but I'm going to be making some extras of some of these cards. Now you can't, once the double stick tape is down, you can't move it. So this is a bit long, so I'll probably have to trim that a smidge. So there we go. I've got to let that dry. While it's drying, what I might do is I might just edge the border with this King Art gel stick that we used the other day. I found it worked pretty good. It's pretty easy to, I tend to ink my borders or paint the borders, so that's pretty easy. And it does dry eventually. It is water reactive, so you can't, I wouldn't put varnish over this. If you want to varnish, I would definitely use archival ink or paint. So it's already pretty grungy, so I don't think I want to, you know, I don't feel the need to bring the grunge to the top surface too much. Maybe just in the corners a little bit. All right, so this card is giving me Man Who Fell to Earth vibes. Wait a minute, back up the train. I forgot to put my number 12. I feel like this almost looks like an elevator, and I should put the number 12 there. So I'm going to go look for a number 12 for that. So I just used a number 12 from a magazine. This magazine actually had pretty large numbers. So I just edged it with some black acrylic paint pen. And it's pretty small. I should, it's not super small, but and I just kind of cut it out in the shape of an eye, because I thought that was easier to do than to do like a perfect circle. And I don't actually want it all the way under there. I want it kind of just like so, but straight. There. Whew, that was close. I almost missed the number. So that's my card for the hashtag July postcard play for day 12, and we've got our fellow who's diving to Earth or some other planet. We've got our damsel in distress that he seems to be ignoring. Then we got our door, and we've got our gateway with the gold. So I had a lot of fun making this card using the baby powder resist. I think you can use cornstarch, like I said. And I hope you guys enjoyed this and that you're playing along and enjoying this fun jelly postcard challenge. So thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow for day 13.